male is dead. So Parks, I sent you the video if you want to like play that.
The American male?
Yeah. So he.
What do you mean? Oh, well,
y'all,
yeah.
I guess. The concept of masculinity, I'm sure. So we'll listen to him.
Right, let's hear this, man.
Let's see what old Anthony Mackie has to say, huh?
And then
keep my boys humble. Like my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. You know, my boys don't do all that internet fly shit. I'm like your kids. And no, I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid. Mm-hmm. Do not. And my oldest gets it. My 15-year-old, he tells the other one,
Shots like,
yo, don't make dad mad. Because once you get one that's right, he gonna straighten the other ones out. Mm-hmm. So it's just that thing of, in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities, for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that. Right. But my boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you.
I like that.
They will always open the door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men. And that's always, since they were 2 years old. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you're the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked every night, this alarm is on, you text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up.
I love that.
Because we're men. If I'm not there to protect, he got to be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, climb through the window, that money means nothing. Right. You can have all the celebrity in the world, jump through the door, that celebrity means nothing.
All right. This sounds like much more of a conversation about being a good father than
I'm like, what?
American masculinity being dead.
I wait for the masculinity part.
Yeah.
I don't know what so that's what I was wondering, like, what did he mean by saying over the last 20 years, like, has killed the American male and the idea of masculinity? But then also, do you guys agree with that statement of when you leave the house, you leave your 15-year-old in charge? Is that like kind of hoisting too much responsibility on a child's shoulders?
No, I don't think so. I'm with him with that. I mean, I don't have a 15-year-old, male in the house, but yeah, at that age, that's what I was. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they expect you to be the man of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Look like shit, like he's saying, yo, make sure the doors is locked, make sure the alarm is on, make sure the windows are on. Like that's responsibility.
He's not talking about like going out and getting a high earning salary and
no, I don't mean
digging wells
No, I don't mean that. I mean like being like the protector of the house. Like should somebody come inside, kind of thing? Like should an intruder come over?
No, he's just saying be responsible.
He's just saying you just got to do the check, the fucking checks in the house before you go to bed. One of your brothers.
I was left alone. Okay, all I had was dogs and cats and fucking birds and fish. Okay, that's who looked after me.
You was in the woods somewhere.
I was not in the woods. I was in Toronto.
He was in the woods of Toronto.
I was living in Toronto proper. Okay, it was the city.
Were you in the cabin?
No, I wasn't in a fucking cabin.
You know how the Russians do when they come here? They go deep in the woods.
I was not in the woods.
What's our deep dive here?
It sounds like he was doing some great father talk.
Yeah.
I think that was super.
I thought that was going to be something else.
It's just his statement saying the American male is dead and the idea of masculinity is dead and all that other stuff. Like it just had people interpreting it just different ways.
In this conversation, that sounds like a clickbait headline.
Yeah,
but if you want to talk about is American masculinity dead, I don't think so. I think that they're...
Yes.
Okay.
All right, let's hear it.
Women has taken on the role of American masculinity in men. And not intentionally, it's just that's what's being pushed to us. Because it's being highlighted that women are now the masculine one in relationships when there's still good men out there not being highlighted and good men that believe in responsibility and being a man in a relationship.
Isn't part of being a good man not being highlighted for being a good man?
Not to be a dick. Because I'm not trying to be a dick and I'm not trying to harp on things. This was my fucking point with that Doechii straight man red flag conversation.
Let's go.
This was the exact
it's being
point.
Highlighted.
What he's saying is that, yo, there are still men.
Talk about it.
Men.
Talk about it.
Whatever your interpretation of that is, he described his. A lot of men agree with
he just
that.
Okay.
There are still men.
That's not
out
being
there.
erased, though. You think what he described as being a man is being erased?
No, and hold on one second here. What you're alluding to, I
can't land.
I
So
know
you can't
that.
tell me what
It's okay.
You can't tell me what I'm alluding to if I can't land.
I'm basing it on the last conversation that we had about this, where you landed all over the place.
But we're having a new conversation, and I'm making a point that connects full circle. The depiction of what a man looks like, many people, and I said this in that Dochi conversation, feel that there's an erasure happening with that. So when you hear somebody say, hey, I'm raising mine like this, like men, like some people still take pride in whatever that interpretation of man is. But to act like when you pick up a newspaper, a magazine, hear from prominent black people, fucking see on TV, see in movies that version of man is not being represented properly, like there's a reason for it, and that Dochi comment is part of it. She has nothing to do with this, so I don't want to get back to her, but that's why y'all that were like, oh, y'all making a big deal out of nothing. Some people were making a big deal out of it because they see a different picture happening over the years.
They tying it to the other shit.
Our children, I mean, we have children that we're raising, and what they're learning is not, what they're learning is on the contrary of what's happening in the home.
They'll show you a man sucking another man's dick today before they show you a man acting like a man.
Exactly.
What does acting like a man mean?
Acting like a man, being responsible.
I keep saying that's open for your own interpretation.
It is, and so
many people agree with some of the things that he laid out. Which is, hey, yes, I'm 15 years old. Yes, there's older people, older women, adults in the house. But none of that matters to a man. A man is going to be a man at all points in time.
Preach, nigga.
So yeah, that's me telling my son, hey, when you get a job at 16, this is what you do when you get paid. You take that money home. There you live with your mom, and you be the man of the house. If there's no man in there, if she's not married, if there's nobody else there, that's your job. Make sure these bills are paid. Help mom in any way you possibly can, because that's what a man does. And so for you niggas to act like there's not an erasure happening, I don't understand it.
Let Mel go, and I want to say.
I don't feel like the Doshi conversation applies here, because what she was describing her preference. And if you're saying that she's describing a type of man that lacks masculinity, then that would lend to the argument.
There's an attack on straight men.
Hold on.
I'm not trying to interpret it from her.
Well,
there's an attack on strong, straight men. Period. I'm not trying to fucking read through cryptic notes about how you feel about some shit.
That is a fact. You are 100% correct. I told you back when we was over at Park's crib, I said, yo, if you ever want to test that theory, go search straight black man on Twitter and put it in quotes. And you went and looked and was like, oh, this is pissing me off. Like, that's just been a thing.
I know, but anytime, that's a thing.
But that's what I'm saying.
Anytime we start hearing from somebody who might share in those views, every excuse is made for him.
Every excuse.
Every excuse is made for him.
They start bringing up different shit that has nothing to do with the topic.
Hey, how about we just
stuff for over the year? Like,
how about we just eliminate the excuses and say there are some people that share in the ideology that these niggas are red flags and they're dangerous, and we rather be around a bear. That's the point of the fucking bear conversation again.
It's really not. It's really not.
A man is telling you something.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something as having daughters.
Mm-hmm.
What are the things that you
even that's the point.
Oh my God.
Why you can't hear from a man that don't have a daughter?
Can I fucking talk?
Yes, I'm sorry.
And because having a daughter changed your perspective on a lot of things.
Thank you
I
fucking
want to tell
very
you that.
much.
Hey,
but not mine.
Ice, but wait, that is the point.
Joe.
Niggas don't need a daughter to qualify. We speaking as men.
Joe, I hear you. I'm telling you, as a man with a daughter,
we got that part.
But you can't.
We're talking about just men.
I know you yelling, but
we're just talking about men.
I understand.
We're not talking about your daughter, your mom, your sister. We got that part. This conversation started and should end with men telling you about men and the erasure of men.
Yes.
You don't need to speak to somebody with a daughter to see how a man feels. Speak to a fucking man.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Mel.
let her
Go
get her
ahead.
shit off.
No,
Please.
no, he
No,
just
please
he
continue.
shut.
No,
No,
Mel,
he
please
he
continue.
He completely shut down
No, you
everything
can't-
that I
no,
put.
Mel.
No, because I can't respond to the Doshi thing. I can't respond to the
You
bear
can
thing.
respond.
I can't because
you
it
shouldn't
all
have to. We're not
because
talking
it all
about
factors in. It does. My fucking argument when you keep bringing up this bear shit, it's fucking pissing me off because you are being willfully fucking obtuse.
Well, tell
All
me
right,
now.
stay fucking there. You two, you have daughters.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you are teaching your daughters in terms of when they go out into the world, how to conduct themselves? Only in terms of their sense of personal safety. Who do they need to keep themselves safe from? Who? Don't just answer the question.
People.
Yeah, I was gonna say the world.
Okay.
The world.
The world.
Can you be a little bit more specific?
People, like you said, it's
Okay,
not.
so
It's
what-
not. It's. I get where you're trying to go with that. I'm not sitting. I mean, I'm not at that point yet. But it's not. Hey, look out for men. Look out for boys. No,
I can
it's
answer
look
that.
out for people.
Hold
Okay.
People are
And I'm
fucked
just,
up out
and,
here
and
today.
I'm just asking you two specifically.
Wait, hold on. I have a 15-year-old
Yeah,
daughter.
he can answer better than
I have
I
a
can.
15-year-old daughter. I tell her to be on the lookout for people, jealous girls, but I also tell her to be
Fair.
on the lookout for older men that's trying to prey on younger girls,
Okay.
offering rides and stuff like that. Is
Okay.
that what you're getting at? I tell her that, but that's what you learn in growing up, and that's that some men do that.
No, and that is fair. And
Okay.
that is fucking accurate. I can tell you stories of when I was 11 and 12. No, fuck that. 8. We had a handyman that used to come to the house. And one day my father was just like, my parents worked. And my dad was literally like, he's coming to the house. Just give him the money for the work that he did, blah, blah, blah. He came to the house. I was there alone. He was drunk. And he tried to do some shit to me. It was fucking terrifying because I'm in my own fucking house. And this is somebody that my parents fucking trusted. And he came there drunk and it was really fucking bad. That is just one experience. There's so many more that I can talk about that happened before the age of fucking 16 years old. The reality is that you can be in the safest environment and still there will be a situation that unfolds that where you need to teach your daughters to be careful of predatory boys and men. And I'm not talking
I
about
got you.
people.
I know.
Because
Can I ask a question? Can I ask you a question?
Just wait 1 second. Anything can fucking happen.
That story about the handyman, was your dad there for that?
No, he wasn't. He was at work. It was during the day. It was like fucking noon or something like that.
Have you ever wondered why we are paid every 2 weeks when we work every day? With EarnIn, you can access your
Mel,
Okay, now, so hold on.
There
No,
are
no,
systematic
no.
efforts
So just-
that are out there to discredit and silence the black man. Silence men.
I'm not talking.
But you have to acknowledge that too,
I'm
Mel.
not.
Mel, wait. Listen, you not have to. You should acknowledge the fact that there is a movement to discredit the black man, to discredit men.
The straight black man.
The straight,
Not just black men, the straight black man.
Online, they're showing that women have all this power and women are in control of the home and the black men are not here to take care
Legislation
of their
says
children.
different.
Legislation with?
Legislation that's being passed, Roe v. Wade being overturned, the anti-abortion laws. There is literally.
We're talking about social media that's being fed to our children.
Okay.
And now if you go on here, there's always something to discredit the black man. You know that and I know that. So that's what the point we're getting at is that there's something that's going on. Not taking away that there's not, we know that there's predators out there. We know that there's men out here that take advantage. But there's also a lot of great men out there that take care of their family, that provide for their children, that protect the home. And that's not being highlighted anymore.
In no way, shape, or form am I fucking denying that at all. I'll highlight it as much as possible.
You
Okay.
don't when you say I'd rather be around a bear.
Oh my God. Literally.
You don't, though, when you say that.
Stop. Because the fucking bear is literally just a fucking extreme metaphor for the high incidence rate of fucking sexual assault against women and girls. That's it. It is a fucking metaphor. Get over it, okay?
Mel.
That has nothing to do with the erasure of the concept of the straight
Yes,
fucking man.
it
It has nothing
okay.
to do with it. It has to do with sexual assault.
Melissa
That is
Ford.
it. That is it. That is all. That is it.
But
That is all.
But what does
Hold
that
up,
teach us?
please let me get this
Go ahead, Joe.
1v1 with her, please. And we don't have to yell and get hostile here.
Okay.
We don't have to
You're
do that.
right, but I'm very frustrated by the way
I
that
hear you.
conversation has been handled
receive
over
you.
the course of
we
months
understand
over
that, man.
here.
I
receive
Especially
you,
for
but a
somebody who
man-
has literally experienced it. Literally experienced it more times than I
Melissa
care to
Ford.
count.
I'm going to say this in closing because I feel like we have rehashed the beer conversation a bunch.
That's true.
But if the bear conversation is being had through the lens of only sexual assault victims and victims of sexual violence, then you have now answered a question while erasing the rest of the field of men, good men, cornerstone men, legacy building great men. You are erasing that and answering the question through the lens of trauma and pain and horrible experiences with men. So when you hear Anthony Mackie describe what it is to be a man, where is the confusion at? We're not talking about men that do that. We're talking about men, and men should be acknowledged.
Because the two things have nothing to fucking do with each other. Listen, all right, look, so just wait.
Okay.
Just wait.
I'm done.
The idea...
Because she's not going to get it no matter what you say.
But
you don't get it. But you don't get it. You don't get it.
You feel like you're part of the problem because you also highlighted that pressure could be too much for the 15-year-old son. That's the first thing you went to.
We are going all over the fucking place. Listen, whoa. Just one second.
But you made an excuse for him.
Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. He brought up the bear. He brought it up. Okay, this wasn't even part of the fucking conversation right now. That was just throwing a fucking monkey wrench into the conversation about male masculinity. That has nothing to do with the fucking bear.
Got it.
That was not
It has everything to do with the erasure of men and what it is to be a man.
Look.
And that's a man telling you.
No, just wait 1 second.
But even that, a man can't tell you nothing.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
There was this case that just unfolded in fucking France, and her name, and the woman's at the helm of this case, her name is Giselle Pellicot. Mm-hmm. She was 70 years old, mm-hmm. and her husband spent the better part of a decade drugging her and advertising to men to come over and sexually assault her. And she did not know it. And do you know who these men were? There was like 50 of them, 51 of them got, some form of, punishment, legal punishment. Mm-hmm. These men were doctors, plumbers, lawyers. They were family men. Mm-hmm. They were grandfathers. They were all the things. The whole point is that there is no face of a predator. There's no face. There is no look. There's no nothing. You can't tell. So when women are talking about sexual assault, it has nothing to do with, be afraid of, men because they're just scary. It's just there's no fucking picture as what a predator looks like. The predator can look like your next door fucking neighbor. The predator can look like your fucking father. The predator can be your uncle, can be your brother, can be anybody. That's the whole point.
Which is more reason for Anthony Mackie to describe what raising a man looks like.
Can I say that he does not become a predator?
Can I say something to you, Joe?
What the fuck?
Here's my
thing.
Here's my thing.
Yeah, agreed.
Here's my thing.
Because that's really
we are so used to looking down upon black men. Not saying you're doing it, but people is, because the first thing you said, and I said this when he said about what he's teaching his 15-year-old son, is that you made an excuse by saying that.
It's not an excuse.
Do you think
I asked a question?
You asked a question, sorry, Mel, saying that do you think it may be too much pressure on this child?
Do you want to know why?
We don't think that.
Do you want to know why I asked that?
We teach our boys.
Do you know why?
I want to know why you asked
This is why I asked it.
Yes, ma'am.
Simple reason why. Because as black people, black women, black men,
yes,
we are forced to grow up a lot faster than we should. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. We are looked at as more mature than our years actually, dictate. Mm-hmm. And that is unfair. That's unfair to both black female children and black male children. They should be able and they should be allowed to have a childhood, a full childhood. That was the only reason why I asked. Had nothing to do with him making a poor decision.
I do get that, because on the flip side, the flip side of that be the girl that is maybe 13, 14, and you got to take care of your siblings now.
Yeah.
You're being forced to be,
because society. That's some of the positions that society afford to people.
And I understand that, but Anthony Mackie is very, very rich. He has a lot of money. He has a lot of access to things. I'm just talking about him specifically.
Okay,
I'm not talking about, say the single mom who's got several children and she's got to work 2 jobs. And yes, then she relies on her children. And I understand that. I'm not talking.
Is that an exception? Do you give that an exception?
And I will give him that he could be considered an exception to the rule. That was the only reason why I asked that question.
Okay.
And it had nothing to do with, the concept of masculinity being bastardized or forced upon him too early. No, it's just like he's still kind of a kid. And he should be able to be a kid. That's the only reason why I asked it.
Do you know what it's like? In closing for me, when we say be a kid, right? People used to say that pertaining to me and my son because I teach them the same values of being a man. Do you know as soon as you take that hand off and let them be a kid, they succumb to peer pressure. They do stupid shit that kids do. They forget the guidance and the rules that you instill in them. So, like, when we say let them be a kid, what does that entail? Right? Let them be a kid. Being a kid, cool, you can have fun, but it comes to some rules and regulations when it comes to being a kid. You can't just let a kid be a kid.
Okay.
I mean, this is a whole separate conversation, but I want to say that because I hear that a lot. And I'm a prime example of, let him be a kid and taking that off. And then shit go haywire.
Look, letting them be a kid don't necessarily mean taking a hand off. They just talk about putting the added responsibility on the kid. That ain't necessarily, you can still have your rules and, the way you're guiding this kid.
Got it.
And let them grow up without basically being a parent or the father of the house.
Okay.
Both can happen.
I feel like, in closing, I feel
somebody close.
Okay.
Get out of here.
Okay. I was just going to say, I feel like, that I had a lot of responsibility put on my shoulders way too early. I wasn't allowed to be a kid, like for as long as I should have been. I wasn't allowed. And so that's the only reason why I asked the question. It had nothing to do with the concept of masculinity.
Look what you became. Look at smart, intellectual, right? Focused, determined.
Yeah.
Like highlight the positivities of that.
Can I add that?
It's great. I will.